Namo Namaha. My name is RJ and this is the American Hindu. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about BMI, which is not body mass index. This is not a diet channel. I'm talking to you about body, mind, and intellect. And these are the three factors by which we interpret the world around us. Before I get into my discussion, I do want to give a quick shout out to my favorite teacher on this topic. His name was Swami Chinmayananda, who unfortunately passed away back in the early 90s, but whose mission, the Chinmaya mission, continues to this day. I will post a link to one of his videos in my description so that you can go and learn from him as I did. Okay, absolutely wonderful teacher. So thank you, Swamiji. BMI, body, mind, and intellect, are the three factors that one has to consider. Body is pretty straightforward. It comes in two parts. Okay, so the first part is simply our senses, the things that we're used to, our eyes, our ears, our mouth, and so on. Okay, taste, and so on. It's the way by which we interact with the physical world. Second part is the chemical being that is affected by things like illness and injury, and if we're hangry, if we haven't had a sandwich in a while. And this chemical being is what determines whether or not our equipment is working properly. Okay, if we haven't eaten in a while, we're not thinking straight. Right? So in order to use the body to its utmost, we need to maintain it properly, and we need to be aware of the things that are required to maintain it. Our mind and our intellect in the Western sense are seen as synonyms. We don't typically make any distinction between mind and intellect. All right, where are the thoughts in the mind? He's a strong intellect. He uses his mind, or she uses her mind, right? But in Hinduism, they are quite separate. Mind is the emotional being. Intellect is the rational being. And it takes a little adjustment to keep that straight in your head, okay? But mind, whenever a Hindu text talks about mind, it's talking about our emotional makeup, our fears, our desires, our feelings in general, and how the fluctuation of those feelings can affect our perceptions and our behaviors, okay? The intellect is the rational being that is supposed to govern the mind and the body to a lesser extent, but definitely the mind. In fact, the entire purpose of philosophical yoga, okay, is to keep the mind in check, right? When Patanjali wrote his Yoga Sutras, and I wrote a cheap pocket version of this called the Pocket Patanjali. It's the Yoga Sutras. You can find it on Amazon. But when he offered his original teachings on the Yoga Sutras, he described yoga as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Okay, yoga is chitta, the mind stuff. Chitta is the stuff of the mind. Vritti, the fluctuations or agitations. Nirodha, being calmed down or silenced. Or put in a cleaner way, the purpose of yoga is to calm the agitations or fluctuations of the mind. Okay, you can think of your emotional being as rainfall upon the surface of a pond or a lake. As long as the rain is falling upon the surface of the surface of the pond is distorted by the rainfall, which means any reflection in that surface will also be distorted. You will not see the true nature of the thing that you are reflecting upon as long as these distortions continue to disrupt the serenity or peace of that reflective surface. Okay, and that's incredibly important. Okay, because when we're not thinking clearly, when we're emotionally driven, we don't see things clearly, and so we respond in ways that are inaccurate. Okay? Even the physical areas, right? Hatha yoga, and especially if you have a good teacher of hatha yoga, you're taught breath control. You might be taught a little bit about energy work, as well as the physical aspects of stretching and strengthening the body, and being able to maintain the various poses or asanas. Because one of the purposes, I would argue the main purpose of physical yoga like hatha or ashtanga in the modern ashtanga is to prepare the body to be able to sit in meditation for long periods of time, so that you're not 2 minutes into it and your leg is cramping or your back hurts or something along those lines. You've relaxed and you've calmed down. Okay, so both in the physical sense and the emotional sense, quietude is necessary. Right? It's no mistake. It's no mistake that the very popular word in Hinduism, shanti, which means peace, is derived from the word shantam, which refers to a long-lasting or permanent sense of deep quietude. Okay, all this is required in order for the intellect to operate properly. So if you don't have the body in mind, and you don't have you don't have the body in control, and you don't have the mind in control, the intellect will be battling against them instead of using its true purpose towards logical reflection. Okay? The purpose of yoga is to get to that point of inner quietude so that meditation can occur. I will make the argument, and you are free to disagree with me, that yoga and meditation are not the same. Okay? Yoga is the preparation for meditation. Meditation is not something that you do. Meditation is something that occurs when the obstructions to understanding are removed. Okay, so yoga removes the obstructions to understanding, and once that is cleared out of the way, meditation can then happen on its own. It doesn't make a difference how long you close your eyes and cross your legs and say Om. That's not meditation. Okay, meditation is something that I almost attribute to tuning the radio to the right channel and picking up the signal. Okay, and that's an important distinction, okay? Because what you don't want to do is get so involved in trying to force your mind to calm down that it becomes a battle of will and suppression. Everything in yoga should be easy and natural. And we'll get into an entire different video before this one gets too long. There'll be another video about the difference between being in control and under control. Okay, but for today's purposes, body, the physical body, both how we take care of it and how we interact with the physical world. Mind, which is our emotional being, our feelings, our desires, our hurts, our frustrations, all of the things that go into being human, right? And our intellect is the rational kind of governing body that is in charge of keeping the other two in check so that we can follow a path that leads to growth. And that's body, mind, and intellect, and a little bit of introduction to the nature of yoga and its purpose, and the nature of meditation. And of course, there'll be a lot more on that in videos to come. If you have questions, please ask in the comments below, and look to my description for Chinmayananda's videos. Thank you.